And we should be up.
Good to go?
Yep.
All right. I want to thank everybody for listening this morning. Good morning from South Park Cemetery. Joined by Leslie Thackeray as we get ready for our Memorial Day ceremony. And so, Leslie, can you give us a rundown of what's going to happen this morning?
For those of you that are new to listening in, this year's Memorial Day Remembrance Program is held here at South Park Cemetery. We're here every year at 10 a.m., rain or shine. This year, Heather Ricketts is the one that has kind of planned behind the scenes from the VFW. We have a lot of we have a great speaker. Everyone knows Dr. King, Rodney. He will be our guest speaker today. This year we have Josh Rhodes, who will be singing the national anthem, so that's new. And then Heather's, like I said, put a lot of work behind the scenes, but also Mike Clark, who he does reach out and get all the information for the veterans that have passed away in Decatur County over the course of the last year. There was a little bit of a mix-up last year, I believe, when roll call wasn't said, and that was because Mike wasn't here, and the person that he gave the list to couldn't find the list, and it ended up being in a packet of papers that, so when they got here and realized they didn't have it, it was like, we just got to go with it. So this year we will, Mike Clark will be announcing both the names for 2021 and 2022, and that is not like a calendar year, so it's going to go from Memorial Day to Memorial Day of that year, so it'll be 2 consecutive years. I know for Gilliland Howe, we have a couple pages of, veterans, so that will be kind of a big list. We've lost a lot of veterans over the last couple years, so it's great to have this opportunity to where families can kind of come again, listen to a little bit of a story, be able to pay respects to their loved ones out here at the cemetery with the flags that Gilliland Howe provides for people here, as well as this year, Expressions Florist has donated some carnations, and we are going to lay 1 carnation on every grave here at Soldier Circle, which is 111.
All right. It's a beautiful morning, and the flags are flying. We encourage everybody to please come on out. The service will start at 10, but even if you don't make that, come on out sometime today and pay your respects and look at the beautiful setup with the flags. Leslie, you've been doing this for several years. You coordinate all of this and have our president here. Tell me just a little bit. I know every year, we see more people that we've lost, and but the fact that we're all here and able to pay our respects.
It's an honor to be able to assist them, as there aren't a whole lot of people that are joining the VFW, American Legion, to try to help honor. So as people pass away, unfortunately, that's a true topic, is you can't replace those people. So we have to continue to find passionate people that either it's a loved one that they have that is a veteran, and listen, if you're listening now and something about today touches you differently and you want to get involved, please do. Or you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Heather, you can reach out to the VFW if you have someone that is a former veteran, or is they themselves are a part of the VFW American Legion, and you know that they can no longer do their part as far as being able to orchestrate these programs, but you think you want to help try to fill their shoes, that's what we need in order to keep these programs going. Yes. You'll see that our group of guys is getting smaller, and that is so sad. But that's when the community has to step in, and then I'm not a veteran, but I want to honor them. Right. And so it takes people that are willing to kind of put in that time and help them, assist them, learn it until they no longer can do it, and then we're ready to take it over. We have a group doing that with the Veterans Day Parade. We've got a really great group of people right now that have kind of joined forces. We want to continue to build it, but we got to build it in a different way. The Memorial Day program, like after this service today, you guys can all meet at the American Legion for a fried chicken dinner. It is a free will offering, and if you have those questions about, hey, what can I do, that's the place to go. Perfect. There's going to be plenty of people that are also there passionate about what we're doing today as far as honoring those veterans that have passed away, those that have served.
And I think, too, this is an opportunity for family members to represent their veteran and give back to their community. So we're happy to be a part of this. I want to thank Gilliland Howe and you for bringing this out to us. And we're going to have it live, and hopefully everybody can come out and be a part.
And definitely, while you guys are watching live, if you get that opportunity and you're not just listening on the radio, look at how many people come.
Yes.
And this is one of those events. This is such a large turnout. We want the same turnout for the Veterans Day Parade. We get a really great turnout for the Race Across America here at the cemetery as well, all ages. This brings out a different age group because they can walk. There's no rain. They've got a good terrain. They can sit where it's easy accessible. Their loved ones can drive them darn near right up to the tent, drop them off, and then park their vehicles. So the cemetery does a great job of preparing and getting ready. And I really cannot say enough about Cassie Powell and her counterpart. They work nonstop to get this place looking absolutely perfect for today. And that way when people come and honor their loved ones, they come and everything that could be done is done. It's just a great, all the trash that they have to pick up, and they never complain. I've never worked with them and they've complained. So we've got the right people in all of those, in all the right positions for this to just be really great.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And the service, as we said, this has been an ongoing annual tradition for many, many years. We're happy to be a part of it. And then we do want to remind you, with the Veterans Day Parade coming up in the fall, make sure that you touch base with Leslie or any of the American Legion, and we will get you connected. But we do encourage family members to please come and represent your veteran if they are no longer able to be a part of it. So
we appreciate you guys coming out every holiday for everything I drag you guys to.
We love it. Thank you for having us. So, all right. And Leslie, a good way for folks to reach you if they do have questions regarding the upcoming Race Across American Veterans Day.
You can send me a message on Messenger if you are on Facebook. You also can reach out at the Gilliland Howe Funeral Home. Phone number is 812-663-8341. And leave a message there. I do have an answering service, so you can just say, hey, have Leslie call me. Here's my phone number, and you can make it pretty simple. If you call during the weekdays, one of us will answer, and if I'm not available, they'll get your message to me.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you again so much, and we're looking forward to the service this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we are here at South Park Cemetery. Morgan joining me this morning.
Yes.
Big thank you to Leslie Thackeray for her hard work that she puts into this.
She always puts on a good program.
She does.
Too.
It's a wonderful
amazing
program. Gilliland Howe Funeral Home, thank you so much for sponsoring and making this so that the folks that aren't able to be here with us, we can put that out there. And Morgan, give them the rundown of how you watch it and then about the girls at Westport.
Okay, so how you watch it. So you can go to our YouTube page, which is WTRE Radio 665. And if you can't remember that, I'll tell you that we have multiple links up to that on our website. There is a post under local news that should have it, and you click here, just where it says here. We also have on our big slider on our very front page, if you look, there are two different ones. One is for South Park Cemetery, which is ours. So if you go there and click on that, it'll take you right to our YouTube page. It's the one that looks like it has American flags with it. And then if you go to the next one, and it's Westport Cemetery Memorial Day Service, you can click that, and that'll take you to our Twitter page, which is where Emily and Sandy are broadcasting that one due to lack of power out there. So they are doing it on Twitter rather than YouTube. So you can click that link, and there's also a link once again in a post there. So there's multiple links you can go to, and
we've tried to make it very simple. The girls have to work with me so they know it needs to be easily done. So we do want to again thank Gilliland Howe Funeral Home for our South Park Cemetery Memorial Day service broadcast. Napoleon State Bank and Bass and Gasper Funeral Home, thank you for the broadcast that is coming out of Westport Cemetery. And also we want to let you know that following the wrap-up here at South Park, then we will rebroadcast on the air from Westport, so that if you were not able to view it and you want to hear it, it will be on there.
And these videos do automatically save both on Twitter and on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it later, Or if you have someone who you know is at work and not even listening to us right now, you can go and send them and they can watch it there.
Very good. All right. Well, a big thank you. I know the service will start at any minute now. It is 10 a.m. So
There
here
we go.
My name is Heather Ricketts, and I am the commander of the American Legion post here in Greensboro. Post 129. Is that better? I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everybody that's here today, all of our veterans as well as our distinguished guests. It's an honor to have you join me at South Park Cemetery in what is one of the most poignant United States federal holidays. Memorial Day is a day that we remember and honor those who made the greatest sacrifice. Let us today and every day count our blessings, stand proud, and salute our fallen as we pay homage to those heroes who have given us all of our freedoms. If you would, please stand, face the flag as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Afterward, we'll remain standing for the national anthem presented by Joshua Rhodes and a prayer by Reverend Harold Carter, pastor of Sand Creek Baptist Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Shall we pray? God of all of us, the giver of life, the sustainer, our hope, our dreams, and our peace, we thank you for holding in your trust all those who have passed by the way in the service of their country and for our freedom. We thank you for the joy you give us, for the beautiful day we have to remember today. We know you are here. We ask that you would send your Spirit upon every heart, throughout every mind, and that we might truly be an example to the world of the Christ, of the Lord, and of the peace that he gives us. In Jesus' name, amen.
You may be seated. I would like to introduce our guest speaker today, Dr. Rodney King. Some of you probably know him. Dr. King is a graduate of Greensburg High School, Franklin College, Murray State University, and Indiana State University. He is a retired 43-year educator, classroom teacher, athletic coach, administrator, as well as a college professor. He was also named IHSAA Official of the Year. He is an American Education and America's Outstanding Teacher's First Recipient Mayor's Board of Works. He is married to his wife Nancy, has 5 children, 11 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. So without further ado, Dr. King.
The focus of today's ceremony is to recognize all military personnel who have made the ultimate sacrifice of giving their life in the defense of our country. The history of the origin of Memorial Day has an interesting background and would be worth your time to research. My comments today have a triangular purpose. One, to recognize those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, and two, to recognize our veterans who bravely served knowing their lives were at risk, and to recognize those currently serving. I will also focus some time on the sacrifice of all veterans and the sacrifice of their families. The first Decoration Day was celebrated on May 30th, 1868, recognizing those who lost their lives in the Civil War. Recognition of May 30th as Celebration Day continued until 1971, when that date officially became Memorial Day. Today is Memorial Day. It is not a day of celebration, but a day to reflect on the many gifts we have been given because of the sacrifices made by so many. It is a tremendous honor to stand before you today among veterans, their families, and those who, along with me, are here to honor those military personnel who have made the ultimate sacrifice. The focus of today's message is the word sacrifice. Webster's dictionary offers this definition of the word: sacrifice, to suffer loss of, give up, renounce, injure, destroy for an ideal, belief, or end. I wish to share with each of you what sacrifices represent. The death of a soldier in combat is the greatest sacrifice. Giving one's life for their country is known as the ultimate sacrifice. Being a prisoner of war or experiencing a permanent injury is a catastrophic life event. Even if there is no physical impairment, the psychological damage is permanent. These injuries, too, are physical sacrifices. Today, we pay tribute to the service and sacrifice of the men and women who, in defense of our freedom, have bravely worn the uniform of the United States. From the fields and forests of war-torn Europe to the jungles of Southeast Asia, from the deserts of Iraq to the mountains of Afghanistan, brave patriots have protected our nation's ideals, rescued millions from tyranny, and helped spread freedom around the globe. American veterans answered the call when asked to protect our nation from some of the most brutal and ruthless tyrants, terrorists, and militaries the world has ever known. They stood tall in the face of grave danger and enabled our nation to become the greatest force for freedom in human history. Members of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard have answered a higher calling to serve and have helped America at every turn. Our country is forever indebted to our veterans for their quiet courage and exemplary service. Today, we also remember and honor those who laid down their lives in the defense of freedom. These brave men and women made the ultimate sacrifice for our benefit. Today, we remember those those heroes for their valor, their loyalty, and their dedication. Their selfless sacrifices continue to inspire us today as we work to advance peace and extend freedom around the world. 5 years ago, my wife and I had the opportunity to visit the hallowed grounds of Arlington National Cemetery and to witness the changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier. The ceremony is very reverent and emotional and was a tremendous honor to experience. While looking across the expanse of the cemetery, there are more than 400,000 graves over 649 perfectly manicured grounds. It is a beautiful, somber sight to behold, enlightening the significance of personal duty and sacrifice. With the end of World War II, it was hoped that the United States would not be involved in further conflicts that would jeopardize American soldiers. However, in 1950, the United States entered the Korean War, where over 53,000 Americans were killed. In 1964, the United States entered the Vietnam War, where over 58,000 lives were claimed, and since 2003, approximately 7,000 soldiers have been killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. In 1960, during his presidential inaugural address, President John F. Kennedy said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country?" During that time frame, many students joined the military, Peace Corps, or in some other fashion began working with the government. However, not all were in favor of the American military. It's important to know it's fine to protest the war. That is one of our rights as Americans. But you should not be against the individual soldier. He joined the service to fight for his country and for freedom, but did not choose the wars nor the engagements. Soldiers who came home from Vietnam were harassed and tormented by people who protested the war. My brother and his fellow soldiers were cursed at, spit on at the airport after they landed, entering the United States from Vietnam. These negative experiences occurred across the United States. Thus, many of the Vietnam soldiers did not talk about the war for 30 years or more. After Vietnam, patriotism fell out of favor in the United States, and it became a country of people who did not believe in serving their country, but were only interested in what they could get. A very selfish attitude centered on themselves, and our country suffered because of this me first attitude. It took September 11, 2001 to change that. It is a tragedy that over 3,000 people had to die to wake up the citizens of America to what they had and what could be lost. This was the first major attack ever to take place on United States soil. Because of the freedoms that we enjoy as U.S. citizens, many people from other countries choose to immigrate to the United States. But many of us who were born here do not appreciate their freedoms and rights that they have. There is hope that the immigrants that come here enter the country illegally and embrace the country, its traditions, and find it to be a country to fight for. To join our military services and become U.S. citizens. Several years ago, while on vacation, I had the opportunity to visit with a citizen from another country. He told me how jealous he was of Americans and the freedoms they enjoy. He also made mention that most Americans granted. They give little thought to how people in other countries are treated and the many things we do daily that are not permitted in other countries. It is imperative that today we also honor our veterans, those who bravely serve. We need to consider their sacrifices and the sacrifices of their families that they serve. Many veterans can personally testify that freedom is not free. You must give back to your country and serve it to feel good about yourself. You can't just sit there and take and give nothing back. It has been said that war is hell, and that is certainly true. Soldiers are killed and physically maimed. Post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD, is a serious mental disorder suffered by many veterans. That has caused many veterans to pursue long-term mental health care and or to commit suicide. Due to the atrocities many of our veterans have personally witnessed or been a part of, they are not the same person they were when they entered the military service. Many veterans refuse to speak of their war experiences. I have witnessed the nightmares, the inordinate silence, the crying, the drinking, the drugs, and other ways of trying to find normalcy. Even after 50 plus years, many veterans, Vietnam veterans, are living with PTSD. America has been very fortunate to not have had a war on its soil since the Civil War. But since 9/11, that has all changed as the war on terrorism began. We may not agree with the war, but it is our duty as citizens to support military personnel in their efforts in helping the United States to maintain the freedoms we currently enjoy. Regardless of your opinion of the President of the United States, we must remember and honor his position as Commander-in-Chief of the Military Services. What is important is that we, as the United States, must band together and support our President. Again, I say, John Kennedy's words, ask not what your country can do for you, what can you do for your country? I personally am not a veteran of the military service. However, as a citizen of the United States of America, I believe that it is my responsibility to support the troops who are currently serving, many of them in daily combat. I also believe it is our responsibility to honor all those men and women who are veterans, not just today, but every day. We've all played the what-if scenario. As we reflect on our personal life experiences, we develop a greater understanding of the word sacrifice. I now wish to consider the personal sacrifices made by you and your family. How many of you have had a relative serve in the United States military? A parent, a brother, a sister, a grandparent, an aunt, or an uncle? Do any of you currently have a relative serving in the military? How many of you have someone currently serving in a war zone? Afghanistan, Iraq. How many of you present here today have had to endure the weight of a relative to come home? If you have a greater understanding of what I'm about to relate. Their service will have a cascading effect on many lives. When you have a close relative or friend in the military, you need to know they will change. You will change. By their absence, we all change as they serve their time to complete their service to our great nation. We await them at home and pray for their self-return. Imagine having a parent on active duty and being called away from home for a year or two. Or how about as a family having to move every 3 or 4 years because a parent has been transferred to a new location. This means you're leaving the community you've learned to love, your friends, your teammates, your position on team, your school. Having to start again as the new kid. My son-in-law, who is a career naval officer, had been transferred to a new position in another state. His family, which there were 3 children, had to make some major family decisions. Do we sell the house? Make house repairs? Pack up and move? Does the son, who is a senior, give up the athletics he's been involved in for years and finish his last year of high school in a new school? Does the daughter, who's beginning her freshman year, give up her friends, school activities, and dance to move to a new school? Does the oldest son transfer from his college to another school closer to the possible new home? Consider your possibilities as a student. What would you want to do? Family history. Dad had previously been away for 12 months in Iraq and 15 months in Afghanistan. They had lived in Japan for a year, Italy for a year. What to do? Since a new assignment was for a maximum of 2 years, Dad chose to go to the new assignment and rent an apartment and drive to and from the permanent home on the available weekends, a drive of 5 hours each direction. Know that deployments are tough on a family. Know that deployments and its effects can be discussed, planned, and to a degree mitigated. Most deployments are made with plenty of time to prepare for move. However, unknown deployments, on the other hand, are an entirely different factor in the life of a military family. Being assigned to command whose mission requires a 30-minute recall with the possibility of immediate deployment. And when the family is not permitted to know the location, the duration, and what the service member will be doing adds an additional layer of stress. There is a constant state of stress and worry that the military member will leave with no guarantee that they will return. Anytime you have a close relative or friend in the military, there are serious sacrifices all around. The worry, the stress, the prayers when the person is stationed in a war zone. The not knowing is on your mind always. I remember my brother leaving for Vietnam and the effect it had on my parents. When my son-in-law was stationed in Italy, he was reassigned to Iraq. His family remained in Italy. To be prepared for his new assignment, he was temporarily assigned to Fort Jackson in South Carolina for 6 weeks to undergo hand-to-hand combat training. Before his departure for Iraq, I drove to Fort Jackson to visit him. This visit was fraught with lots of emotion. The not knowing of what fighting in a war would bring. I will never forget. It has been etched in my mind forever. He and I standing and hugging as we bade each other goodbye. The wait for his safe return was pure. hell. Many of our veterans share the same emotions being separated from friends and family. They missed family weddings, funerals, birthdays, serious family illnesses, graduations, and many other life events. While there might be issues taking place at home, they could not be there to help. Imagine the sacrifice that families and veterans have given. In quoting John J. Simkus, speaking at middle school in 2007, we are all grateful if they are lucky enough to come home unharmed. But in reality, they do not remain unchanged. They have lost something, or should I say, they have given something in our defense. It could be one of 1,000 things, most assuredly time, for they gave a part of their lives, in most cases, some of their innocence and youth. Their war experience has surely left its mark on them emotionally. No matter what it is, in some way, they have changed. As a writer once noted, in war, there are no unwounded soldiers. I went on the internet this morning and intentionally pulled up an article that I wanted to share with you. It is my prayer and hope that I can read it. For background, I was a teacher and coach at Whiteman, Indiana from 1994 to 2004. I spent 20 years there. Please allow me to introduce to you an American hero. Sergeant Joseph E. Proctor was raised in New Whiteland, Indiana, and graduated from Whiteland Community High School in 1987. After graduation, Joe, as he was known by his family and friends, married his high school sweetheart, joined the National Guard and then the Army, and served 5 years in Germany during Desert Storm. Joey completed his military contract and returned to Indiana, where he and his wife Beth worked and raised their 3 children. The events of 9/11 changed the course of Joe Proctor's life. He re-enlisted in the Army and once again walked into harm's way to serve and protect the country he loved. On May 3rd, 2006, just 2 weeks from finishing his tour of duty, Sergeant Proctor courageously stared down the enemy and saved the lives of hundreds of American soldiers. In the process of once again putting others first, Sergeant Proctor lost his own life. Here is an accounting that was posted to one of his unit members' blogs on that fateful day. When I arrived on the scene 15 minutes after the blast, a lightly wounded Iraqi approached me and told me, "Proctor killed driver. Make truck stop." The first realization was how incredibly wrong I was in my assessment of the Iraqi story. The second realization was how clear it became that Proctor had done what very few men in this world could ever imagine. A dump truck packed with an estimated 350 pounds of explosive charged the strong point and breached the wall. Before it could make it to the barracks area where dozens slept, the driver was shot dead by Sergeant Joe Proctor. Proctor, without hesitation, opened fire on the truck, which was bearing down on him, killing the driver and bringing the vehicle to a stop. Seconds later, the vehicle detonated, killing Sergeant Proctor and Marine Corps Captain Brian Latendre instantly. Sergeant Joseph Proctor need not be made more in debt than he was in life. In a world of phonies, his absence, we mourn him, comforted by the knowledge that he died the way he lived, standing yards taller than his frame, with courage and strength. So today, we give our thanks to all families who in one way or another sacrificed their son, daughter, or sibling as they served their time in our military. We should not wait until special days such as Veterans Day and Memorial Day to honor a veteran, to thank him or her for what they have sacrificed for us. We should be grateful every day. It is our duty and honor to thank all our veterans. As you are out and about and you see one of our former or active military personnel, walk up to them, extend a hand, and just say, thank you. Your appreciation for their sacrifice is all that they ask in return. These men and women were and are willing to give their all, as many of their comrades have for us. They are the proof that freedom is never free, and this nation will remain the land of the free only so long it is the home of the brave. Today, on Memorial Day, let us give our thoughts and let them focus on those who so bravely and gallantly gave their lives that we might live in freedom. Pray for them and their families today and every day. We always remember that one nation under God, the United States of America, is far, far removed from the turmoil and danger that is experienced daily around the world, and that we are so blessed to live where we do. The closest that we have come to experiencing turmoil and danger in recent times was being witness to the events of September the 11th, 2001. None of us wish to ever relive that changing event. For this wonderful gift of peace and freedom, we only have one person to give thanks to: the American soldier. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. King. At this time, we would like to remember the veterans of the World Wars. We give special remembrance to those veterans who never came home. We will remember those in the many veteran cemeteries throughout the world, from Iwo Jima to Normandy. We also give special honor and remembrance to many sailors lost in ships and submarines, to the many airmen whose aircraft were lost at sea or aircraft were destroyed and their bodies could never be found, to the many soldiers and Marines who battled on beaches or in jungles and were never found. These veterans have no cemetery where they can be remembered. At this time, I would like to recognize Mr. Mike Clark of St. Paul, who is the Senior Vice Commander of the VFW Post 2695, Shelbyville, Indiana. Mike has been a long time and regular member of our Decatur County Funeral Honor Guard. Unfortunately, there is no governmental agency, historical society, veterans groups, or other organization that records the names of Decatur County veterans who die each year. Mike has personally taken responsibility for recording this historical information. Mike will now read the names of Decatur County veterans who have passed away in 2021 and 2022.
Thank you, Heather. The individuals who maintain and compile this list strive for accuracy and completeness. Several newspapers, as well as other sources, are used to gather the names of our departed comrades, but occasionally someone is missed. We offer our sincere apologies if a loved one or friend is not on this list, and we assure you that no one was omitted intentionally. Harold William Minkendick, Charles Chuck A. Lee, Jr., David J. Poppy Welsh, Richard Lewis Powers, Jr., Robert Curtis Graham, Charles A. Brown, Jeffrey Wayne Hoban, Norman Victor Bramblett, Michael Lewis Howard, Scott Allen Hildebrand, McKinley C. Saylor, George B. Bayless, John E. Springmeyer, Russell Burkhardt, Raymond B. Geis, Norman Lyle Richards, Paul R. Kessler, William S. Colson, Reginald Warren Foster, Beverly Ann Osborne, John Frederick Adderley, Hugh Henry Loudenback, Michael Eugene Edmondson, Michael William Cascaden, Robert B. Lay, Keith E. Messer, William D. Miller, Sr., John Lee Hendricks, Donald Robert Snyder, Donald E. Redelman, Gregory B. Thomerson, Dennis Raymond Herbert, Frank R. Schreiner, Sr., Douglas Edward Elwood Perry, Dale Wendell Hurst, Dale John Waters, Brenda M. Alexander, Robert E. Black, Jada Moss, George Jr. Metters, Paul Elwood Menifee, Cletus J. Wessler, Daniel E. Gatewood, Alfred Harry Dykoff, Thomas Joseph Weigel, Vernon Alfred Wilmer, James Richard King, Clarence Edward Blanton, James B. Sturgis, Anthony Mark Reishop, John Thomas Stoltz, Ronald Lee Lucas, Mark Allen Turner, Paul A. Kirby, Donald L. Creech, Melvin Lewis Harpering, William Dale Merritt, Frederick Cruiser, John Wesley Davis, Kenneth E. Lucan, Gregory Allen Myers, Larry Milburn, Eugene Jack Hammerly, Margaret Peg Miller Jenkinson, Russell William King, Gerald Wayne McLean, Melvin James Moore, Alfred Hoeing, Lorne Yale Fogle, Jesse Lee Perkins, David L. Myers, David Lee Salee, Edward Joseph Flecker, Leon J. Meyer, Gary A. Bowlby, Ray F. Beagle, William Bill C. Haley, Steve H. Hampton, Dennis E. Big Daddy Clark, Larry Gene Stevens, Robert Dale Clark, William Joseph Lay, Roger W. Wellage, Larry R. Cunningham, Edward Allen Bockelman, Tommy Trent, Ralph Emerson Izzy Newman Jr., Larry Melvin Fry, Alan R. McLaughlin, Charles Dale Hunnicky, George Lee Griffith Sr., Jeffrey E. McDonald, William I. Bill Stone Jr., Joseph L. Howard, Larry C. Schaefer, John H. Peters, John Walter Tice, Carl K. Wells, Francis Metz, Donald Lee Smith, George Daniel Jackson, James Allen Jorger, William Gregory Barker, William Robert Miller, James Daniel Ball, Austin C. Ball, Sr., R. Michael Miner, L. Tom Hood, Charles E. Land, Christopher Joseph Herman, James L. Badel, Robert C. Porter, Alan Menifee, Michael Thomas Riley, Donald Red M. Ziegler, Arnold Lee Barber, Kenneth W. Roberts, David E. Graves, Ross Weber, John Jack Baldwin, Harley E. Weber, Bobby Ray Kilgore, Charles Israel, Ray Nolan Brinley, James J. Rosenberry, Carl K. Bode, Donald Dean Boots, James Smokey Mule, L. Tom Hood, Leon J. Meyer, Howard Terrence Robbins, Peter Kemp Seitz, William James Wilhoit, Robert Bob Wright, Jackie Wyrick. That concludes our list.
Now we'll have the placement of the Legion wreaths, and these will be announced by Leslie Thackeray.
The American Legion Post 129 Women's Auxiliary will pay tribute to each war and conflict by laying a wreath on the crosses that you see before them. Start with Lori Phillips, placing on the Revolutionary War Cross. Ruth Foster, the War of 1812. Debbie White, the Mexican War. Linda Humpert, the Civil War. Karen Myros, the Spanish-American War. Blake Welsh, World War I. Sharon Welsh, World War II. Fayetta McKenzie, the Korean War. Wanda Cawley, the Vietnam War. Joan Arnold, the Grenada War. Bertie Dougal, Panama. Anne Smith, the Parisian. Terry McGrath, Iraqi Freedom. Virgie Sharp, Afghanistan.
I'm going to say a few closing words, and then we will have the benediction by Reverend Carter, along with the Honor Guard closing the service out. I want to thank everybody for attending today. A special thanks to our distinguished guests, Mike Clark, Josh Rhodes, Dr. Rodney King, and Reverend Harold Carter, Leslie Thackeray. I would also like to thank the Sons of the American Legion Post 129 for their hard work in setting up, as well as the Ladies Auxiliary, Decatur County Honor Guard, and all those who are involved in today's ceremony. I would like to leave you with a quote by Harry S. Truman. Our debt to the heroic men and valiant women in the service of our country can never be repaid. They have earned our undying gratitude. America will never forget their sacrifices.
God of our fathers, God of every person, help us to remember and to appreciate the gift that everyone has given, and to know that inside of every one of us there's a gift for us to give to the world around us. Thank you again for a beautiful day. Thank you for a beautiful time to remember. May it sink into every one of us that we have a lot to give before this world passes in front of us. Thank you to everyone, Lord, for the time we spent, for the grace you've given us. In Jesus' name, amen.
You can be seated. I also forgot I'd like to give a thanks to Kathy Dutcher, who is at the coffee table. Does a good job.
We ask that all veterans participate with us in this closing ceremony. Please render a hand salute upon the command, present arms. Honor guard, attend, present, halt. Order, hum. Salute rifle. Forward, arms. Salute rifle. Ready, hum. Fire. 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 Bugler. Present, halt. Order, up.
This concludes our service. I'd like to thank everybody for being here today and enjoy the rest of your day. One more mention, we also do have dinner put on by the American Legion of Post 129 for a free will donation. If you'd like to stop by, we'd enjoy having you. Thank you.
Well,
All right, that is the conclusion of our Memorial Day service here at South Park Cemetery. Wonderful turnout today.
it was great.
It
It's bigger
was.
than last year, probably because it's not as hot, which sounds silly, but as you get old,
Yeah, it's
you don't want to be
beautiful.
hot. But it's beautiful. The
Beautiful.
wind is just enough that if you are watching our live stream, I have a beautiful picture of our American flag right here.
I know, I'm telling you.
So it was very good.
Wonderful a message from Dr. King. We appreciate so much, and all of the folks that put this all together for us. So,
Yes.
again, a huge thank you to Gilliland Howe Funeral Home for sponsoring the service today, coordinating all of the things that go with it, and for working with WTRE to bring it to you
Yes.
live this morning. So, if you want to go back and see it later,
You can go to our YouTube, which I believe the handle is WTRE Radio 665, or you can just go to our website and click one of the sports links, which all link to the same page. Or if you want to click, we have two up on there that are American flag kind of themed. One is for South Park Cemetery, which is this service, and the other one is for the Westport Cemetery service, which is actually on our Twitter, WTRE Radio. So very beautiful. Bear with us. There's a little bit of wind in some parts, but that's okay. It's outside. That's what you got to deal with sometimes. So
That's right.
now we got the kids placing their carnations. That's great.
yeah, big thank you to Expression Florists
Yes.
because they are currently placing the carnations out here at the Circle of Soldiers, and it's just beautiful. Beautiful day.
It is. It was a great service. And if anyone saw me crying during taps, no, you didn't. That's all there is
It
to it. No,
does
you
it
didn't.
to us, though.
It gets me.
Yep.
It gets me. My
Yeah.
dad is a veteran, so
Yeah.
I'll hear that one day and be bawling.
All right. Well, like we said, huge thank you. If you didn't make it the service, please come out and
Yes.
pay your respects here at the cemetery and just see what a precious sight.
It's great. Sometimes
right.
that's all you can say about
That's all
something.
you
It's
can
great.
say.
It is great.
All right. Thank you, BJ.
Thank you, BJ. Yes.
She's at the studio taking care of business there.
Sending me updates, which I always appreciate.
Yes, getting us on the air and keeping us there.
Yes.
So, Morgan, thank you for being here with me this morning. And we will send it back to WTRE. And again, a huge thank you to Gilliland Howe Funeral Home for this service. And also, I want to mention for the Westport service, Napoleon State Bank and Bass and Gasper Funeral Home for making that possible for us to be there and bring it back to you here shortly. So,
Absolutely.
everybody have a wonderful, very safe day. Enjoy this beautiful weather and enjoy time together.
Absolutely.